You seldom even recognize yourself. You no longer remember exactly who you are and what deeply touches and motivates you. That is the tragedy of many people. They feel caged and trapped in the need to adapt and do not feel good doing that. Yet, they do not know exactly what other options they have. The first step is to again feel yourself, although it is difficult to know right away, at the practical level of action, exactly what you have to do. The form in which to express your unique energy is often not yet known to you. So the first step is to feel where you stand, what you have suppressed, what you want most, your dreams, your wishes without restrictions. What do you feel is missing in your life? Feel it in your gut. Imagine what would happen if you allowed this energy to radiate outward to other people, if you showed your true face, your unique vibration, your talents, but also your feelings, letting others know what is bothering you if you threw off your masks and were authentic, sincere, and honest. A lot of people sincerely desire that authentic connection, but are thwarted by the social pressure to adapt. Be an innovator. Be a pioneer for this world. Dare to show yourself. You will be doing it both for yourself, as well as for others, because being faithful to your unique self, gives something to others. You give to them the space to show themselves and also to deviate from the norm, from what is seen as acceptable or proper. Dare to be free. Every day, let your feelings flow. This brings me to the next point, the second blockage that keeps you from experiencing connection to your soul, and that is the mind. You have been overly trained to approach situations from your head. Already during early schooling, you were encouraged to do so. But also later, in your work, there has been a lot of emphasis on the mental. You have wandered far away from the childlike spontaneity that once existed within you. You are sometimes allowed to be a child in your free time, or when you are on vacation. But this is a very odd situation, because the best of yourself, especially in your work and creative activity, only emerges if you are in touch with your inner child, your spontaneity, your emotions. Still, you are almost obligated to control your emotions in work situations, to be rational, but that stifles true creativity. There is also something else that affects you, and that is what I call the scientific worldview. At one time, church and religion were very dominant in society, and breaking through the dogma and the power of the religious tradition was a good thing. The free and open thinking of the sciences was a revolutionary innovation for humanity. It has brought many good things, innovation, a new way of seeing. But in the end, the scientific way of looking and sensing began to smother intuition and has led to a very one-sided approach to reality and to being human. Look at the endorsed way one looks at health, body, nature, and emotions. The official, thus the scientific approach, is very restrictive and impoverishes nature. However, that approach has become a part of you, it is not only something imposed from the outside. It is so overpowering that you also look at yourself and your reality in that same way. And this hinders even the connection with your soul, because contact with your soul is something that flows, something with feeling and intuition, and this cannot be proven scientifically. It is often the case that when you make contact with something higher, with your soul, with a guide, with an inner knowing, everything is shrunken down by a skeptical voice within you. You think that the skeptical voice is true, honest, trustworthy, we should not let our imaginations run wild and fool ourselves. But that way you cut off, as it were, an original organ, an original sense, namely that of your intuition. You alienate yourself from your power of seeing, and that keeps you from a living connection with your heart and your soul. Appreciate scientific thought and insight, it has had significant breakthroughs and is valuable, but it is not the only worldview. Do you remember those moments of quiet about which I spoke in the beginning? A knowing that is penetrating and true, even if your mind cannot grasp it. Feel the presence of your soul in the silence. That is where thoughts come to rest and you can feel the space around your thoughts. Mental activity is not all-powerful. There is a much greater intelligence present in the universe and in you, and it is present in the now. Because of your fear, you always want to know more and more things, but the intelligence of which I speak, that of your soul, that is here in the now. This voice speaks in the now and shows you your true feelings and what you have to do, what is important to you now. Your soul is not that interested in external results, in what you will do, in what you are trying to achieve in society. The soul is basically interested in your inner development, that you experience freedom while you live on earth, that you wake up, that you are aware of yourself, and that you feel the joy of that you are not a victim of the powers here on earth, that you really live from your heart connected with your soul. Invite your soul in. Do not think about it, simply say yes to it. She is the source of your being, she is no stranger. Your soul tingles and bubbles up in you, in all your body cells, but it is your consciousness that determines whether you allow her in or if you succumb in your daily life to the fear of being different or of standing out. Call on this consciousness for help. You are not alone. It is precisely in the connection with your soul, in knowing what moves you, what touches and drives you, that you become truly connected to the whole. Maybe you will lose a job, or a relationship will disappear from your life. Maybe your connection with people will change, and also the form of connection. But real loneliness is caused by a brokenness, a gap in yourself. If you are estranged from your own soul, if you live from fear, then you are the loneliest. It is the inner connection to your soul that is fundamental. Dare to be alone, to be different, to strengthening this connection. Dare to show your true face. Trust your feelings, do not let your head decide everything. Take time for peace and quiet for yourself. Even if your emotions are railing loudly, stay with them with a quiet consciousness, quiet and loving, without judgment. Then those emotions will come to rest at an appropriate time. It is through the emotions that you then begin to sense what is really important. You then make contact with the intelligence of the soul, and that is far greater than the mind can grasp. What you do here on earth is important, you make a difference. There is a lot in motion now on earth. But precisely because of the birth of new light, of new consciousness, there is also much confusion and chaos, because the dark is drawn to the light, literally. So do not become discouraged. Your inner path has an impact on the collective consciousness. You create new paths for consciousness by your courage to follow your inner way. You reflect what you truly are by being honest with yourself. You pave new roads for consciousness, so honor and respect yourself for doing that. You are not alone, you are carried by a field of consciousness that is now everywhere on earth. Feel the joy of it. You will be supported. Feel my love. Thank you so much for your attention and your presence here.